Jot down these 3 points I'm going to mention. What you will stop doing as a freelancer. Number 2, what you will start doing. And number 3 will be what are the strategies that you have learned.
We will kickstart with our first speaker for tonight, someone who embodies startup growth and mentorship. Ndifon Emmanuel is the founder of Easy Plan Limited and Planify Business School. And in 2025 alone, he has mentored 45 startups from skills and your services to people across the globe, making you an influential person. Without wasting much time, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Emmanuel Ndifon. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to hear your perspective on building freelancing like a real business. So the floor is yours. You can go on.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate your effort so far. This is a very big one because we that are into the freelancing space, I've seen a lot of people that are really broke and doing freelancing business, despite the opportunities that are out there. So this will be an eye-opener to many persons that are yet to come into the understanding of what freelance is and how they can leverage the opportunities that are tied under freelance. So it's a very big issue that no one has ever talked about. Why are freelancers broke and why are they struggling despite they have a lot of skills on their disposal? So it's a good one coming up with this. And for the audience, I think you're going to learn a lot. This is not only from my own end. We are having a conversation. So we have a lot of experts that's here. Mind shift of what freelance really is and how we can navigate and come up with a solution to the problem we are facing in the freelance industry. So every one of us here, as I said, we are already an expert. And I have little contribution to make. Then whenever there's question, you let me know that we can take it up from there. First of all, I want to let you to understand that before or at the end of this conversation, you should have 3 things that you will do for me. So if you have your notepad or if you have your paper and your pen, what you do for me is to jot down these 3 points I'm going to mention. Number 1 is this. At the end of this conversation, you divide your note into 3. The first part of the note will be what you will stop doing as a freelancer. Number 2 will be what you will start doing. Then number 3 will be what are the strategies that you have learned at the end of this conversation that you'll put into implementation to start doing. So at the end of the day, if my own part cannot cover the strategies that are in place for you to work with, so you have to ask questions so that we can give you those strategies on board, because the main aim of this webinar or this conversation we are having is solutions at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I repeat myself, the first thing you should do is what are you going to start doing? Second, what will you stop doing? Third, what are the strategies that you have put in place that will help you or aid your freelancing job or freelancing business? That is what we'll be looking at. First of all, I would like to talk about my own philosophy and our reality as a people. First of my own is the fact that clarity, as we know it, is not knowing. Clarity is doing, or clarity is action. So the only proof that you are clear after this webinar is that you are taking action. If you can't take action, means that you are not clear. That's the first point I want us to establish. I repeat, clarity is not knowing. Clarity is taking action. The only proof that you are clear is that you are taking action for a particular thing. So any day you start taking action, that is when your clarity comes. But any day, no matter what is preached to you or being thoughts to you at the end of the day, if there's no action, that means you don't understand. That is what I want us to clarify first. Secondly, there's another statement that says, let the sleeping dog lie. And most times, I would say that if we allow the sleeping dog to lie, which is true, but we should not allow the dog to lie by our side. Now, my reason is that if you allow the dog to lie by your side and the dog is dreaming, maybe in a dream world, and in the dream world, the dog is eating bone and maybe rejoicing and laughing. When the dog now gets up and discover that it was a dream, and the reality shows that it's your leg that is closer to him, or to the dog rather, to eat. At the end of the day, you're going to eat your leg. So what I'm trying to point out in this point is that the way technology is going, you don't need to receive knowledge and hoard the knowledge. What you already know is already late. So any knowledge you have on ground now, you have to take action. AI is innovating. A lot of the industry are innovating. That's why today there are some freelancers that are not making money. It's not because they don't have the skill, but because AI has taken their job away from them. So if you are, whatever you are learning now or today, you have to take it to action immediately. Now, number 3, we established that the sky is too big for two birds to collide. So if you say, okay, it's my idea, no problem, another person can have that same idea to run. And therefore, we become lack on what we were supposed to do. So as this conversation is that the sky is not too big for two birds to collide. Why I'm saying this is because the owner of Facebook, the owner of WhatsApp, Instagram, and Trend belongs to one person. So if the birds are too big, or the sky is too big for two birds to collide, at least you could have shared that to another person. So whatever knowledge you are having here is for you to take action immediately. Now, fourthly, we are going to our conversation gradually, is that the new technology in a whole has defined us in many ways, especially in the way that we work. In the last 10 years, or in the past 10 years, freelancing job was not so pronounced, but the advance of technology has made freelancing to be very pronounced. So today, you can do anything online. You can have, in fact, there are so many, the most expensive companies on earth presently now, they were built online. That means that the internet has defined.
Mr. Were, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your network was bad for a while, and I'm sure many people didn't get your line of thoughts, your previous line of thoughts. I don't know if you can reiterate a little backward, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it good now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, for the sake of this conversation, I will start with the last thought. Maybe later on if there's time, because I don't have time based on what the time that was given to me. Now, I said that technology has defined us in so many ways. And one of the ways that the technology has defined us is the way we work. And currently now, the biggest companies on earth are built on technology. You can talk about YouTube, which is one of the biggest companies on earth currently now. Facebook is one of the biggest companies. They are all built on the internet. So the way we work has already been defined by this company. So you can sit down and build a multi-billion dollar company in your house, or at the comfort of your house, or at the comfort of your bed. You can comfortably do that. Now, the best and the richest earners currently now in Nigeria and in the world are all freelancers doing the work from their home. They don't need to travel or go to work every day. They sit down at their home and get a lot of money from it. That's the way internet has defined things. So one of the ways that internet has defined us is the way we worked. Currently, I'm sitting down in my room, addressing everybody from the comfort of my room. That's the power of the internet. Now we are going somewhere. Now I want you to understand that the first world, because while we are here, I want to look at how people think and challenge ourselves to think differently. The first world sees the internet we're talking about as inexhaustible resource. That means that they see the internet as an ocean. And in this analogy, you understand with me that in the ocean that you have, a lot of things can go on. You won't carry, even though you carry the biggest container in the world to face the ocean or face the river, it won't get dry because it cannot be exhaustible. It cannot finish at all. That is the power of the internet. That's the same way internet works. So the first world see the internet as inexhaustible resource. That's what it sees it as. Meanwhile, we at the third world, we see the internet as exhaustible resources. You see the internet as a glass of water that can get finished. So we try as much as possible to conserve it and preserve it just for ourselves. That's why most times we get 1 gig, 2 gig, 3 gig, 4 gig to 10 gig, and we've been conditioned to use that internet per time in a specific time. But in the first world, it's not like that. As I said, most of the multi-billion dollars company was built from the internet, which is seen as an inexhaustible resource, like an ocean that cannot be finished. But here we see it as a glass of water that can be finished, so we manage it. So that being said, a lot of company has been built on it. Meanwhile, we cannot comfortably build companies on it because we see it in a different way. So what we are trying to build up this is to change our mindset about the internet. And when we talked about freelancing is in two forms. You can do your freelancing online, offline. You can do your freelancing remotely. But what we are emphasizing as a freelance is most especially as a remote worker with the online basis. Now, based on Nigerian statistics, in Nigeria today, 84% to 87% of the workforce in Nigeria are all self-employed. That means that people that are working online people that are employed, that they are working for themselves or working for government, 87% of them are self-employed. Now, out of this 87%, only 14% work remotely. That means that they are not aware that they can use the power of the internet to work better. That is why we come up with the business of freelancing, to guide those 87% of self-employed to get more market online and see how they can market themselves properly online. Before we continue dive deep, I want us to compare the market first, because let's understand what we are dealing with and how important this industry is. Let's look at the market of the freelance market globally. Now, the global gig for the workforce of freelance is worth over 435 million people. That means globally, 435 million people work online. That's what they do. Secondly, United States alone has over 64 million freelancers, which occupy over 38% of the workforce of the United States. That shows that, imagine that our own workforce is occupying 14%, while that of the United States is occupying 38%. There's a lot of gap for us to fill in this industry. Now let's go further and look at other analysis. Now in the US alone, they had 4,869 jobs that was available for freelance only in the month of June. June alone, statistics shows that over 40,000 jobs was available for only remote workers or freelancers, not for on-site, not for offline. Those people that are working online, only United States alone, they provided more than 40,000 of those jobs. United Kingdom as a whole provided more than 4,000 of those jobs. Australia, 6,000, and other countries as well, including Nigeria, have a share in this. So that's how the market is vast. Now, with all this number we have mentioned, $1.5 trillion of the freelance industry, the number of jobs being posted out by the United States, about 4,000 jobs online for freelancer. The question is that, why are freelancers broke? Why are we broke? And that is why we're having this conversation together to ask ourselves why we are broke. Now we're teaching two schools of thought that will help us look at ourselves and know if we are thinking the right way or we are thinking the wrong way. Now, like I call it the school of the rich and also the school of the poor. How these two schools thinks. There are some persons that have sworn in their lives never to come online, and I'll be comparing those people that are online and those people that are offline. How much their value of their business will be online and offline. Now, you agree with me that if your business is offline, you can only deal with a particular region. Let me say, for instance, if your business is in Abuja currently and you are into grant writing or fundraising just like myself, I can only serve Abuja physically. But if my business is online just as it is now, I can easily serve globally. So in the mindset of the school of the rich, I position myself globally, not being limited by my location. That's the work of the internet. I can get a job in America, in the UK, in any part of the world, sitting down in Abuja. But in the school of the poor, they want to reason it deep and sit down in one place, have a furnished office outside their home, and build it up like that. Before you know it, I'm going to make more money than those other persons. That's how it works. That's the first analysis I want us to look at. Now, the second analysis I want to look at is consider myself, for instance, as a business plan writer. Imagine that I offer a business plan service globally, normally as I do. People from the UK come to me to get to help them write a business plan or grant writing or raise funding for their business. Now, at that point, what I will do is that I might be too worn out to start writing different grants for different people, or I might hire a lot of people to help me do the job. Any of the path I choose is okay by me. But look at another scenario. As a business plan writer, what if I develop an app that helps people to write a business plan? And at the end of the day, instead of everybody reaching out to me, they'll go into the app and subscribe to the app, and the app help them to write business plan. You see, these are two different schools of thoughts. And we're trying to establish why freelancers are actually broke. We are going to the other point. The last one is individual as an agency, as I've mentioned. I can decide to hire people to work under me to deliver more grant writing jobs, or I decide to do it alone. So those are two schools of thought that we are looking at. Now, one of the ways that freelancers are broke is because they choose wrong niche. Most freelancers choose wrong niche. You just feel like, okay, let me allow my business to go online, and they struggle to put their business online. And maybe their business they are into maybe content writing. Without being specific in their niche, they put it out online. And one time they try getting a job, maybe on Upwork or any other platform, and the job is not coming. They are worn out, they are born out, at the end of the day, they will give up on it, say freelancing is not working. It's not because that freelancing is not working, it's because they choose a wrong niche to operate in. That alone is a problem. And that is what we will be looking at going further. So we have established that we've established a school of the rich, and also we have established a school of the poor. And I've told you different scenarios how this school thinks. So we're going to look at that and use the school of the rich now to apply to ourselves as okay.
Okay. At this point, you should be very time conscious. So try to put together all your thoughts. So we will give you like 5 minutes more.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we are getting there. So first of all, we said niche first. You consider your niche. Currently, which of the niche in freelancing is selling? There are a lot of jobs can go into freelancing, but not all the niche you can get jobs. There are some niche that you can have job. There's some niche that you cannot have job easily. I'll give you some instance. Now, one of the in the global market, for instance, the US market or in the Europe market, software engineering, web development pays better. The job pays better, and people are in high demand of it. I'll mention other ones like data analysis and AI. They pays better. UI UX and product design pays better. Digital marketing pays better, like the SEO and digital marketing, like the XEO, the analysis, and the rest. Content production, like video editing, social media, and the rest, sells better. Business plan and strategy also sells better. But now, these skills I mentioned does not come easily. It does not come cheap. It may take you time to master this skill. But if you master this skill and know what you are doing, you go online, automatically you will have a lot of gigs for yourself, a lot of jobs for yourself to go on with. So you consider the niche first. What niche should I consider? There's some niche you consider you won't sell. There's some niche you consider you will sell properly. And a lot of people are in demand. So you search what are the niche that are in demand, then you go by it. Then in Nigerian market, since we are all Nigerians, or most of us here are Nigerians, you have to consider what niche is really selling in the Nigerian market. What are people buying? One of the things that people are buying is virtual assistants. People are buying that a lot. Social media management, they are buying that a lot. Content writing and copywriting, they are buying that a lot. So these skills I mentioned are skills that people really need currently now. So if you are going to freelancing, you have this skill in Nigerian market, you are sought after. Nigerian market can get you out there. But the first skill I mentioned, a lot of people that can pay you better, because what I mentioned is that a skill that can pay you better and help position yourself better is this skill I mentioned globally. The ones in Nigeria have also mentioned it for us to understand how it works. So that's how freelance work. So if you pick a wrong niche, automatically it will become difficult for you to really go ahead with it. So first of all, you have to understand that as a Nigerian, I'm trying to round up, there are some certain factors that are 100% against you. And one of those factors is that everybody assumes that you're a scammer online, except you prove yourself otherwise. So before going into the market of freelancing, there are a lot of problems that you need to solve. Even though you are genuinely sincere and those problems are not solved, and you have a glitch on your work 1 or 2 times, you'll be like, it's Nigeria. He or she has scammed me. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to look at your setup. You have to be in a very quiet environment, that is not noisy, first of all. I'm in my space, I'm talking to you. The environment is calm, is not noisy. That is one proof that, okay, this person is a serious freelance. Secondly, look at your internet. Now, as I said, in the first world, as we established, the internet is inexhaustible resource. They don't think that, they don't even know that it will get finished. It is only in the third world that internet gets finished. In the other world, it does not finish. So if you tell your clients in the UK or in the US that you don't have data, they'll be like, what is data? They don't even know the meaning of data. Data can be maybe statistics. So if you say data, they don't even understand. If you say there is no NEPA light, they'll be like, what is NEPA light? NEPA light, they don't understand that, is it true that people can survive without light? They don't know all these things. So it's something that you have to find a way to correct. Secondly, you have to be able to solve global payment barrier. Learn how to use global payment option. There are lots. You can make a research about it because of my time. I'm trying to rush. Then another part you have to solve is VPN. Now, that not all jobs that you can see as a Nigerian. I'm not saying that you're a scammer or you want to scam. So you have to use the VPN to be able to see those jobs. Very important. Now, there are so many Upworks that we use. As a freelance, what you have to understand is that whenever you have a job, you get a gig, for instance. Some of us go sleeping that, I've gotten this job. No need to fight for another job. To me, what I do is that Immediately I land my job, the first thing I do, I start looking for another job, because freelance is based on contract most times, and sometimes it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year max. So if you are so close to that job, not knowing that one day is going to end, it becomes a problem. So you start looking for other strategy, another platform that you have to have job for yourself. So you don't only depend on your job on Upwork or on LinkedIn. You have to use a lot of method to make sure that you reach out to these your clients, both cold mail and others, to seek for this job. So there are a lot of things you have to do as a freelance. I could have gone because of my time. I think I'm going to end here for now. Then if there is any question, I'm going to make more clarity for that. Thank you very much. And Martha, thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much. You've spoken like the expert that you are. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We are grateful. But I think our viewers have some questions for you. And before we take the questions from our viewers, I have a question for you that I think our viewers might want to ask, and the area I think they may want to get clarity on. So from your experience in mentoring startups, what mindset shift do you think freelancers need to adopt that will help them move from the hustling for gigs to actually scaling as a business? What mindset do you think they should have? And then the second part of this question is, if there is a freelancer that is already successful today, what should that freelancer do? What's that first, second step the freelancer should take to start scaling from freelancer that chases gig into a freelancer that is actually building a business with freelancing?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think I can take it up from there. Let me start from the second part of the question, which is that of the already established freelancers. Yeah. Now, there's some culture that we need to imbibe as freelancers. First of all, we have to understand that freelance is a business, and we have to take it as a business.
Sure.
Now, being the business is that you pay yourself. Like personally, what I do as a freelance is that I earn in dollars, but I don't spend in dollars. I earn in dollars and I spend in naira. And secondly, you shouldn't spend you should spend like the average person you are in your country, not spending like the Americans or the UK persons.
Because
that's what because we earn in dollars. So if you are, for example, if you're a master degree holder, you ask yourself, in the Nigeria economy, how much does master degree holder earns? Okay, with your master degree, can you have a lecturing job? Let's take the highest lecturing job. Maybe they're paying you 400,000 a month. And as a freelance, you earn more than maybe ₦1 million a month. What I advise you to do as a freelance first is that you bring yourself low and bring yourself low and earn like your economy that you are. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because you are your own employee and you are your own pensioner.
Yeah.
So the government will not pay you pension at the end of your years working as a freelance. You have to pay yourself. So you have to start earning like the persons like you have in Nigeria. Whereas you start building up your portfolio for yourself and start making plans for your savings. Now, one thing I did for myself that I'm so glad is the fact that, because we're told to share our own experience, the fact that 2018, 2019, I have to open a pension account for myself. And also I opened a pension account for all my staff that are working with me at that time. So that means that whenever the money comes in, I have money for myself, I have money for my savings, I have money for my pension. And the pension is growing. So by the time I'll be up to the age when Nigeria was supposed to pay me, or my country was supposed to pay me pension, I'll pay myself because I prepare for it. So all freelancers should be able to build that. Secondly, you may not build your freelance as a business model on the global scene. Some people prefer to, like, some clients want to give their jobs to individual, not an agency or a company. So if you are that kind of person that always get gigs or jobs from a client that want to work with you personally, please, in your own country that you are, register your company and run it personally and run it as a company. So when you receive your money from maybe any of these payment platform that they use, maybe it can be Gray and the rest, withdraw the money and let the money pass through your own personal business account, not your personal account. From there, now you can pay yourself, pay your staff or your assistant that is working with you, and you move on. That is how I advise freelance to do. So you register your business or freelance, please register your business and run it as a company internally. Run it as a company internally and move on with it. Then for those of us that are just coming up as if they want to start the business of freelance, please note that your niche matters a lot. Sure. The skills that you have, that you think you have, sometimes AI must have eaten 80% of it.
Of course.
Like somebody met me and said he's into logo designing. And all of us know that when it comes to logo, you can easily do logo with, there are a lot of apps that does logo for free. So that person may not be able to sell, may not be able to have jobs like that. At the end of the day, he feels like his skill is not good enough. Truly, AI is taking part of the job for you. So what you have to do is pick a niche that you know you can easily get a job. And also pick a niche that are in high demand and run with it. Sorry. Then also try as much as possible to get yourself into a community and have accountability partner. See, as a freelance, it's not easy working from home. Let me tell you the truth. It is very stressful. In fact, today I learned that if you are sitting a lot or lying down a lot to work, the same thing you face or the same consequences that will come to you in terms of your health is the same thing that the person that smokes igbo will also have. So you have to be intentional about yourself, build community around you, freelance community around you, and make sure that you check up on yourself and you try as much as possible to wind up and build up the career, because it's not easy to be disciplined. It's not easy to be disciplined. That's the truth. Working from home, you have all the liberty, all the freedom. So it's good to be attached to somebody that will guide you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful answer. So I will rush now to put out the question that one of our audience asked. So he said, does a human resource expert need a freelancer? Because he believes there are freelancers themselves. So do you think human resource officials need freelancers?
Let me understand what I don't get the question. Please come again.
Does human resource officials need freelancers? Because he feels that as a human resource official, you are a freelancer yourself. So do they still need?
First of all, you have to understand that I'm a freelancer and I employ a freelancer. It's just the level of knowledge. For instance, Tunelumelu is a banker and he employs a banker. So you might have, I don't know if you can see here. Hello, can you still hear me?
You can continue. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So as I was saying, you may have a need as a freelance. You may have a need of maybe an assistant, like normal admin assistant or other assistants. Then you can now employ the service of a freelance that can help you, maybe data entry or to assist you, or executive assistant, any of those things. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. And let me add a little to that question. If you are a human resource official, we have human resource officials that works offline on site and they don't work remotely. And human contributes a little to that. And we have one of the speakers in the house. She would like to contribute to that as well, but I would like us to be as brief as possible. So I was saying that as a human resource officer, we have human resource officers that are not freelancers. We have human resource officials that work on site. And we understand that human resource activities are a wide range, like from sourcing out CV to putting out adverts to compiling names to doing interview. Yes, the question is yes. As a human resource official, you can still use the help of a freelancer. Whether you're working on site or remotely, you can still use the help of a freelancer depending on the activities you have. You can make use of the service of let me say website designers. You can make use of the services of a graphic designer. You can make use of the services of a virtual assistant. So yes, as a human resource official, you can still make use, you can likely need a freelancer. So please let's give and the opportunity to Mrs. Ajobaro to contribute to this question. She has something to say.
Thank you so much, Martha. And I want to especially thank Mr. Emmanuel Ndifon for recommending me for this webinar. I want to, because I'm currently working with three HR companies now, talent agencies. That's why I want to reply. I want to contribute to that question. There are a lot of aspects of HR that a freelancer can work in, that you can hire a virtual assistant for. You can hire a virtual assistant to work on the resume of your candidates. That's number one. Then you can hire a virtual assistant to conduct the first step of the interviews. That's number two. You can hire a virtual assistant to conduct the first phone interview. That's what we do. Then you can hire a virtual assistant to qualify. If you are using AI nowadays, because there are so many AI softwares now that can grade, that can qualify candidates and put them in pipelines. But you, as a virtual assistant, you still have to go in and press the button. So there is a lot of opportunity if you are in the human resources side of the business. But there's a lot of opportunity for you online, and all these agencies, they are looking for HR consultants that can help them in that role. So it is vast online. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much. We appreciate that contribution. Okay, so I'll just recap a little on what Mr. Mawe said, and we will go further. So I listened to him carefully, and I took note of some of the things he said that I think might be important to us. So if you missed out on when the network was having a glitch, so he started by saying you should take note of what you will stop doing today as a freelancer. You should take note of what you will start doing today as a freelancer. And you should also take note of the strategies that you will put in place to aid your freelance business. And he made mention that you should stop treating freelancing as a side hustle and start treating it as a business that it is. He also advised our newbies and encouraged already existing freelancers to choose their niche wisely, train themselves, and stay patient until they succeed. He talked about retirement plan, and he also made mention of building your finances, saving and paying for yourself. I hope I didn't cover a lot, but I hope I've just been able to reiterate a little of what Mr. Emmanuel said. So if you missed out on his presentation, with that, you can get something from it. So we are not just going to waste any more time.